I stopped hiding my mastectomy scars at the pool the day my husband asked me to wear the padded suit so the neighbors don't ask questions. So I had a double mastectomy 14 months ago. Breast cancer, caught early enough that I'm here to tell you about it, which I know is the part I'm supposed to feel grateful for. And I am. I genuinely am. But getting here meant losing both breasts at 38, and that is its own separate thing that sits next to the gratitude and doesn't cancel it out. Recovery was hard. Not just physically though, that part was brutal. The mental side of it was something I wasn't prepared for. I'd stand in front of the bathroom mirror and just kind of stare at my chest like it belonged to someone else. My husband Derek was supportive during the treatment. He came to every appointment, he cooked, he handled the kids. I want to be clear about that because it matters for what comes later. We have a pool in the backyard. Before everything, I was out there every summer weekend. After, I bought a padded mastectomy swimsuit that creates the illusion of a chest, and I wore it every time. Not because anyone made me, just because I wasn't ready. I was still figuring out who I was now, and putting on the suit felt like one less conversation I had to have. We moved into this neighborhood about 2 years ago, and I don't know our neighbors that well. The Hollises on the left are nice enough. Linda from across the street waves. We've had one block party. It's civil, but it's not close. Last Saturday was hot. The kind of hot where by 10 in the morning you're already thinking about the pool. I was in the bedroom getting changed, and I pulled out the padded suit and I just stood there holding it. I'd had a hard week. My 6-month scan had come back clear, which should have felt like pure relief, but it brought up a lot of stuff. Grief, I think, for the version of me that doesn't exist anymore. I put the padded suit back in the drawer and grabbed my regular swimsuit instead. Just a plain black one piece. No padding. Nothing to hide anything. I wasn't making a statement. I was just tired. I came downstairs and Derek was in the kitchen getting sunscreen for the kids. He looked at me and I watched his face do this thing where he was clearly working out what to say. He said, "Hey, are you going out like that?" I said, "Yeah." He kind of laughed a little, like maybe I was joking. Then he said, "Do you want to maybe put on the other suit? Just, you know, the Hollises are probably going to be out and Linda's got people over, so the neighbors don't have to ask questions." I stood there for a second. I said, "Questions about what?" He said, "You know, about what happened. I just don't want it to be a whole thing." I said, "A whole thing for who?" He said I was being sensitive, that he was just trying to protect me, that he knew how self-conscious I was about it. His voice had this careful tone like he was diffusing something, like I was the problem in the room. And I don't know, something about the word protect, something about the way he said it, like my body after cancer was a PR issue he was managing. I said, "I'm going outside." He said, "Can you just think about it for a second?" I said, "I did. I thought about it for 14 months. I went out to the pool. The kids were already in the water. I sat down in the chair, put on my sunglasses, and I just sat there. My chest flat on one side and flat on the other with the scars right there in the sun. Linda had a couple of women over across the street, and yeah, they could probably see me from the driveway if they looked. I don't know if they looked. I didn't check." Derek came out maybe 10 minutes later and didn't say anything. He sat in the other chair and watched the kids, and I sat in mine and I didn't explain myself or apologize for making the morning complicated. After a while he said, "I wasn't trying to shame you." I said, "I know." He said, "I just didn't want people to make you feel bad." I said, "You made me feel bad, Derek." He was quiet for a long time after that. Neither of us said anything for probably 20 minutes. The kids were laughing and splashing and asking us to watch them jump in over and over. So we watched. Linda waved at me from her driveway around noon. I waved back. Nobody came over to ask questions. He hasn't brought up the suit since.